Well, welcome to Volk Lumber. We're out here on a beautiful spring day. It's awesome outside. So in this episode, we're going to talk about the iDry kiln. And you know, when I first looked at getting dry kilns, I had no clue. Like, I knew I wanted some sort of a machine that was going to take my lumber from wet to dry with little hassle. And I tell you, just stumbling upon this system, I must have had an angel on my shoulder saying, yes, Dan, this is what you need to get, because it is a game changer. It took my business to that next level, and it's so effortless. You don't even have to think about it. You just push a button and walk away. It's awesome. I love this machine. These guys did a great job putting it together. They got great technical support. They're not paying me nothing for any of this, but I just happen to own one and I love it. So I hope you guys enjoy this episode, and we'll see ya. Little cockeyed. Worst thing is the uneven ground out here. It just really makes it a challenge. You've got to just go slow and easy. About 1,300 board feet of red fir. It's going to end up being siding for a client. So we'll get this dry and then run it through the planer and make Dutch siding out of it. Pretty nice looking stuff. this is the part that makes me sweat. Look at all this effort. Walk away for a week.
A few days later.
Got some snow. Today is a snowy day. You know, typical Eastern Oregon weather in February.
You can hear that vacuum.
Yeah, it's starting to release. So this is perfectly safe to open this up. It's not going to blow out. And this typically takes a few minutes, and because it hasn't had a chance to go through that drain cycle, there's going to be water inside of this. So when I open this up, now like I said, iDry makes one hell of a nice machine here. I don't really have anything to complain about. There is one maintenance issue that this thing has, and it is the seal. After time, this seal gets hard and it loses its elasticity, so it has a hard time achieving the door seal. I know there's replacement seals I can get from iDry, but at the moment all I'm using is this gray tape, and this is the trouble area where these hinges are at. This side, because of the crank handles, you can crank it down and get it to seal. I mean, this is almost 4 years of continuous use. So I ended up, it's a little messy. You know, this tape it's kind of goopy, but it kind of sticks to the machine, but it achieves the seal.
Do what you gotta do.
Do what you gotta do. So these boards, these top boards, up here on top, you'll see beads of water. And I've noticed with this machine, it dries from the bottom and it dries from the sides, and then it kind of circles in and dries the middle, and it keeps working its way like that up through the unit. And so the last place for these boards to get dry is going to be that top couple of layers, which also I found that if you pull this charge out, this top layer will dry even within a few hours, because this is all probably going to be pretty dry, and they will acclimate to the unit. So, you know, these couple in the middle, they have a little harder time getting dried out. Okay, so we're still on the soft wood, and I'm going to throw this up here, and it's going to be wet, I'm sure. Yeah, it's so wet that it's buzzing.
So does that mean it's over a certain percentage?
30. So up there is still really, really wet. But on the sides, I've got 18 down here. So this unit's still wet. So we're just gonna let it run for a couple more days. A lot of this is due to this weather, this wet damp. When I put these units in, there was snow on top of the unit. So the unit went in wet. In the summertime, in 4 days, this whole unit's dry.
A few more days later.
Good morning from Bulk Lumber. So today I got to check that kiln again. We checked it a couple days ago, and it was still pretty damp. It was around 14 to 18%, so I let it sit in there for a couple more days, and today is the day. And I want to show everybody this pretty handy little app. I could be around the world and I can access my dry kiln. And not only can I access it, I can get on here and do things. Like there's a little cursor right here. It's a little bitty black dot, and you got to set it up on the icon that you're going for. Right now I want to look at the graph, and I want the last 7 days, and there's my graph. So it's pretty cool. It gives me ease of mind to know that I can be on a vacation and I can access this, and it'll tell me what the kiln's doing. And I see that it is time to give it to check it, so I need to open it up. So I'm going to reverse back out of here, and as I'm doing this on the phone, the screen down there is actually going through what I do right here, so it's real time. So we're going to go to home, and then we're going to go down here, we're going to go to stop. I'm going to hit the stop icon, and right now the kiln has stopped. I can hear it down there shutting off right now. And then I can come over here and I can hit vacuum release. And now it's going to start releasing this vacuum. When this reads 27 or 26.7, I'll be able to open the door. You can see this number increasing because that is our vacuum that's inside there. And it's really odd how it measures it. I believe that's inches of mercury. It's not PSI, so that's a little confusing to me. I'm not sure why it's set up on that reading, but because I've done this for so long, I know that 26.7 is going to be 14.7 pounds per square inch, and that allows me to open that door. So it's going to take a few minutes to get this number up, and once that happens, we can go down here and check it out. When you're doing this, it's always best to wait a little bit for this valve to open up. Once this pressure equalizes, it'll take a few minutes, and then this valve in here opens up, and whatever water is in that chamber will drain out. The only problem I've ever had with that is sometimes you'll get pieces of bark and sawdust that will collect in the 90-degree pipe, and it'll plug that drain off. Yesterday I noticed it was doing that, and I can tell that just by watching that graph, and you can see that it's not quite getting all the way up to temperature. It should be set, it's set at 160 degrees, which is this horizontal line right here, and it's not quite getting there, and usually that is because there's still a lot of moisture that's not draining out. And a couple days ago when I checked it, I noticed those boards were really a lot wetter than they should have been, and so I had a hunch that that was plugged in there, and the chamber wasn't draining all the way. So sure enough, I tore that apart yesterday and it was plugged up. So hopefully this couple of days of running dry has got that moisture down to where it should be. So it happens, I mean, every 6 months or so. It's something that I've learned to watch for through previous experiences, not understanding why it wasn't drying the way it should. But
So shutdown and maintenance is super important.
It's one of the important things. I had a fan after 3.5 years of nonstop running. The fan motor quit, and iDry sent me a new fan, and this new fan has a zerk that you can actually grease the fan motor and the bearings outside of the motor, and that's a big upgrade. Now I can get in there every, I don't know, I've been going in there every probably 3 months because this thing runs a lot. So I get in there about every 3 months and I shoot some grease in there, whereas the previous fan motor didn't have that option. So I'm hoping to get a little more life out of this motor by doing that. So we're at 26.8. This valve should open up here directly, and we'll be able to take a look inside that kiln. Pretty sweet machine. Nice guy. It's not supposed to be.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a winter weather warning or something.
Yeah. See, immediately that door popped. Got fogged up glasses.
Wow, yeah. That wind came through and it just rushed in there and pushed all that steam out.
Results here. Board feels pretty good. Let's see what it's doing down on this end. Yeah, we're down to 6.97. So it looks like on this door face, it's having a harder time getting dry. Probably gonna end up being somewhere in the neighborhood of 10% once it all acclimates out, and I think that's good. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick this board back in here. I'm gonna set up our breakaway tracks and then go get the telehandler and pull it out. So I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. Now, you guys might have noticed that it took a lot longer to dry than I thought it was going to take. And a lot of that was due to the inclement weather we were having. You know, one day it was nice and sunny, the next day it was snowing. And in those conditions, I noticed that the drying cycle is thrown off a bit. And I believe the reason why is because I don't have this in a warehouse or in a sealed building. The front of this is exposed to the elements, and I've been thinking about a way to enclose this with an add-on to the building, some sort of a clamshell that'll close and it'll be insulated, and I think that would help my situation out a lot. But I'm not there yet. I keep building, I keep adding every year, I keep doing something different. So anyway, hope everybody's having a great day, and hug somebody you love. Bye-bye.